Come on in here. I almost said welcome back to my channel. Come on in here, y'all. Let's get into your Monday motivation, your start to the week. Okay. Let me make sure that you guys are ready for what this week has to bring you, because there's so much goodness on the way. There's so much goodness on the way for you, and we got to make sure that your mind is opened up for it, that you're ready for it, and we also got to have a very real conversation. Okay, let's have a very real conversation. Can I be honest with y'all? Comment yes in the chat if I can be honest with y'all. Comment yes in the chat if I can be honest with y'all. Let me pin this comment. Freedom. Hey, Tammy. Hey, y'all. Right. Yes. Let's start off with some honesty. Okay. So, what I want to really begin with, and I appreciate us as a community because I'm always able to come to you guys and we can have a real conversation, because I want to see you win just as bad, if not more, than I want to see myself win, right? Truly, truly. Everything I give to you guys is for all of us to collectively do better, have more, be more, the whole nine. I need to talk to some of you guys about really embracing and understanding change. So I posted over the weekend about the fact that I'm living in Senegal and what my cost of living is here as compared to what it would be in the US. Now, y'all know I have a big family. I have 4 kids. You know, they eat a lot. My husband is 7 foot tall. I got another one on the way, which I'm so excited for and so grateful for. But it's a big family. And so, and this is not for everyone, but a lot of people, or not even a lot, I would say a strong handful, right? We're like, oh, these costs in Senegal, is this exploitation? How can people live on these costs? This isn't fair, this isn't right. We find ourselves living the same, changing because we don't want to be open to change, right? You've got to recognize, and so many people have to recognize, that life outside of the United States of America is extremely different. So just because you haven't seen or lived another existence, don't assume that paying $300 a month for a live-in nanny is exploitation. That's expensive here. Here, people pay $50 a month. I didn't want to do that. Even when we moved here, the agency that we hired our nanny through was like, you don't have to pay that much. And I'm like, no, I want to at least double what they would normally be paid, because this is an amazing value. In the US, we could never have this, right? So you've got to realize that you have to change your environment. You have to change your mindset in order to see that there is so much more than just what life is showing you in America. I believe that so many of us have become really brainwashed to this idea that here is the only place to live well, that living in the US, to accept this idea of normalizing struggle, that when we hear about or see examples of people living there, that's not right. Well, but here's the thing. Don't you want more for your life? And you have to for your life. Then when you start to see examples of other people living a life, instead of allowing your mind to go to the place of that, you're limiting yourself, right? How can you say you want more, you want to have more, but then when you see more, we get an attitude? We cannot want to have a better situation, and then when we see an example of a better situation, we get mad. We don't like it, right? It's so important. That is a really key thing, because we want change. We want to change our life. We want to change our habits. We want to change our income. But change goes both ways. In order to experience a change in your life, you yourself have to change. You have to change your environment. You have to change your thoughts. You have to change your habits. You have to change the way you react to things. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Comment got it in the chat if you got it. So in order for you to have a changed life, in order for you to have a changed bank account, in order for you to have changed, income, you have to change. You have to change and learn more and see more and ask more questions, right? One person that I responded to over the weekend who was asking about, exploiting people in Senegal. I said, you have to shift from accusing to asking. How can you want to have more in your life when as soon as you see something that isn't familiar to you, you accuse? You have an accusatory tone, doing something wrong, right? They must be doing something wrong. And here's the thing. You can absolutely be a successful person who lives well and is a good person. You can do that. We can have that, which means you've got to make sure that you start changing your ideologies about things and recognize the US has it twisted. It's only in America where we have to struggle for the basic necessities. In a lot of other countries, having food, on top of having someone that cooks and cleans in the house, on top of having affordable daycare or childcare for your children, having more is having on top of the basic necessities covered. It's only in our country, the US, that's making us think we got to struggle for it all. You got to struggle to have a daycare. You got to struggle to buy eggs. You got to struggle to buy groceries. You got to struggle to buy water. Struggle, 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 struggle. Struggle, struggle, struggle. This is what they push down our throat. It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be bad. It's just, and it's like, no, free yourself from that thought process. Free yourself from the idea that everything has to be a struggle, because it doesn't. It can be ease, right? It can have grace. God designed you for that. God designed you for that. So I want you guys, I titled this live today, the 3 C's of success. And those C's are change, courage, and consistency. So we're going to break each of these down. Change, courage, consistency. I want you guys to write those down. Change, courage, and consistency. So the first C we've already been talking about. You have to change your environment. You have to change your conversations. You have to change what you listen to. You have to change the information that you take in if you want to see change in your life. If you are not willing to change those things, how will you see a change in anything else, right? One of my favorite quotes, it's kind of an interesting one, but it's like, you cannot change the people around you, but you can change the people around you, right? You can't change them, but you can change them. And that's the same thing. You might not be able to change your environment, but you can change your environment. You might not be able to change your thoughts, but you can change your thoughts. Putting yourself in new situations, putting yourself in different situations, giving yourself the opportunity to know new people, to talk about new things, to experience different things, to watch different types of content. This is how you start to change what is going on in here so that everything else around you also starts to change. So much of the time, God is not going to inject the blessings you are asking for in your life because you're in the wrong place or with the wrong people. God wants to give you what you're asking for, but he doesn't want to do it with them around, or he doesn't want to do it where you are currently situated, or he doesn't want to do it with the current mindset that you have. Because you've got to understand something, right? Ooh, let me make sure. Can y'all hear me? Okay, I think you guys can hear me. You've got to understand something, right? God has a responsibility, and not only to bless you with the things that you're asking for, but to also make sure that when those blessings come, that you're able to maintain the blessing, that you're able to stay on track with the blessing, right? God is only going to give you what you are ready for. So if the blessing hasn't come down yet, if the package hasn't been delivered yet, you might need to look at, am I ready for what I'm asking for? Do I have the right people around me in order to not mess up what it is that I'm asking for? Am I in the right environment to get what I'm asking for? I've been in Senegal now for the last 8 months. I truly believe that there are certain opportunities and certain lessons that only would have come to me had I moved here. I wouldn't have been able to receive certain information and, receive certain blessings had I not moved and changed my environment. And it can be scary. It can be scary to change and do things that you haven't done before. It can be scary to change the people you hang out with. It can be scary to change the type of conversations you have. It can be scary to change where you live. But what should be more scary is the thought that, or the possibility that, because you don't change, you end up staying in the same place, having the same level of life, and not receiving the blessings that God has for you, simply because of our fear and unwillingness to change. That is terrifying. Yes, it's scary to go forward and do something new, but what is more scary is to stay in the same place. What is more scary, realize there's been no progress made. You're still praying for the same thing you were praying for 12 months ago. Let's get comfortable with change. Get comfortable with changing your habits. Get comfortable with creating a new routine. Get comfortable with, you always go to brunch on Sundays with this group of girlfriends and drink all unlimited mimosas. Maybe this next Sunday, how about you stay home and work on your business? How about you change that routine a little bit? Instead of binge watching your shows on Friday night, instead of binge watching your shows on Friday night, how about instead we binge create some content? Or how about we binge a bit so that we can change our income? Let's change what we focus on so we can change what we actually receive. That is going to set you up so much further, because I want you guys to realize that as we progress in life, you should be doing different things and thinking differently and knowing different people than you knew last year. You should be, right? It's okay to keep expanding, but to limit yourself to doing the same things, being around the same people, talking about the same stuff, eating the same foods, whatever the case is, where's the growth in that? Where's the experience in that? Where's the opportunity in that? And those habits, those changes you make directly relate to what ends up presenting itself in your bank account, or what jobs end up presenting themselves to you, what customers end up presenting themselves to you. All are connected to what changes you start making. So our second C is courage. We've got change, we've got courage, and we've got consistency. There's also a fourth one, but we'll get to that. You know you have to change. You got to change your environment. You got to change the people you talk to. You got to change who's around you. But I also want to, really recognize the fact that it takes courage to do so. I want you to comment the word courage in the chat. It takes courage to step out and say, I'm going to start this business, or I'm going to leave this job, or I'm going to create this content. I'm going to get up on camera. I'm going to go to this networking event. I'm going to move out of this neighborhood and into another. I'm going to leave this man alone, or I'm going to leave this woman alone. All of these things take courage. It takes an enormous amount of courage. And it isn't even so much to do the action, but to even first have the thought of putting yourself out there in a way that you haven't done before is extremely courageous. And so for the work you've already done, I'm extremely proud of you. For the courage you've already shown to even start, to even try step one, I'm extremely proud of you, and you should be proud of yourself. Courage is something I want you to recognize and applaud in yourself every single day. Because every single day, even if you make one small step in the direction of your goals and dreams, is courageous. And the more you start to recognize where you are showing courage, then you build yourself up. You build that confidence up in yourself, and then you continue to exude courage in other ways. Courage is a muscle that you have to continue flexing. Just like consistency is a muscle that you have to continue flexing. Confidence is a muscle that you have to continue flexing. You have to big up yourself for the courage that you're exuding on a daily basis so that you can keep having the courage to do what it is that you're doing. It takes courage to even think about the fact that you could go out and make more money. It takes courage to even think of the possibility that you could be the one to be that first millionaire in your family. That takes an extreme amount of courage. And so you have to practice that courage every day by continuing to say things like, I will succeed. My business is going to make X amount of dollars this month. I am going to be the first millionaire in my family. I am going to post this piece of content, even though it looks, I'm scared. I don't know how people are going to think I look, whatever the case is. I'm going to do it, because the more you utilize that courage, then the easier it becomes to be courageous. The more you do it, the more you stand up in the face of things that terrify you, the more you take steps towards things that appear to be so challenging for you, you become better at it. You become more courageous. The first time I went live, for example, was terrifying. Absolutely terrifying, back in 2020. I had my kids in the background. I was living at my mom's house. I didn't know anything about lighting. I only had like 2,000 followers, if that. My first live was only 3 or 4 people, right? But the more you continue to purposefully and intentionally face your fears, the better you become at facing your fears. The better you become at being courageous. You have to keep at it consistently in order for it to be easy for you. You have to keep at it consistently to be easy. And this is why I always tell you guys, when you start to build a habit, right? When you start to get good with your content, when you start to improve your business credit, when you start to apply for grants, right? Whatever it is that you are doing in the direction of your success, don't stop. Because when you stop and take a pause, you have to rebuild up the courage to start again. And that loses you time. But if you continue on the path and you're doing a little bit towards it every single day, a little bit towards it every single day, then you're maintaining that consistent level of courage so you don't have to stop and start, stop and start, stop and start, and find the courage again to get started. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? The more that you stay committed and the more that you exude courage and the more that you use your courage, the easier it becomes to find it. So yes, seem hard the first time to stop talking to whoever that person is that you know is no good for you. It is going to seem hard. But after the second time, it gets less hard. After the third time, it gets less hard. After the 10th time, what was ever hard about it in the first place? Listen to change the places you go, to change the people that you talk to change how you talk to yourself, to change how you allow others to talk to you. But once you do it the first time, the fourth time, the 10th time, you forget what was ever hard in the first place. This is what I mean by practice having courage and exuding courage every single day so that there's no gap in between where you are and where you need to be. You consistently build up that muscle to get you there. And, while we're thinking about consistency and while we're thinking about commitment, I told you guys back on the 1st or 4th of January, I said, this is your year to be all gas, no brakes. I want y'all to comment all gas, no brakes in the chat. This is your year to be all gas, no brakes. Y'all know I'm pregnant. I will be delivering pretty soon, right? I got a couple months, but still. I feel like this is my year to be all gas, no brakes, especially because I have a shorter year than most of y'all, considering once I pop this baby, I'ma just be breastfeeding and changing diapers, okay? This is your year to be all gas, no brakes. I need you to commit to the goals that you have and commit to the vision you have of yourself more than you commit to the self-sabotage. We have to commit to success more than we commit to self-sabotage. And I know somebody is thinking, well, I don't sabotage myself. But self-sabotage can look like self-doubt. Self-sabotage looks like overthinking. Self-sabotage also looks like, well, I'm not ready to do this yet. Let me just wait, right? Self-sabotage looks like procrastination. So while you may not be thinking that you're intentionally sabotaging your own success, every time that you say, I'll do it tomorrow, is a small version of self-sabotage. Every time that you say, I don't know if I'm good enough, is a small version of self-sabotage. Every time that we say things like, well, I don't think my customers will buy this, or wow, look at this person's content, it's so much better than mine, is a small version of self-sabotage. I want you to commit to more of things like, I'm going to post it anyway because whoever is out there for me is going to find me. I'm good enough right where I am right now. Done is better than perfect. Let's commit to more actions and feelings like that than we commit to self-sabotage. Then we commit to, I'm not good enough. I want to share with you guys what I screenshotted just the other day. Here it is. And this, I love Keke Palmer. We all love Keke Palmer. YouTube, I'm sharing a quote. I'm going to read it to you. But it says, the truth is, everyone doesn't have to like what you do for you to be successful with it. It really, it really doesn't matter who hates it. It matters who likes it. There is an audience for anything. So please keep doing your thing. There is an audience for anything. Let me say that again. There is an audience for anything. Instead of thinking about all the people who aren't gonna like what you bring to the table, think about the people who are going to be waiting at the table for what you have to serve. That's who we need to focus on. Don't worry about the ones who don't want to come eat or sit at your table. You need to be focused on the ones who are at the table, like, give me some more. There's an audience for everything. I know y'all seen, I have shared with you guys so many examples of what I think to be some of, in many cases, very strange types of content, just very unique businesses that I've never seen before. And they are 7-figure businesses selling things like bowling tips, strawberry content creators, people who are particularly cat lovers, right? I mean, so you just have to really free yourself from this notion that it has to be good enough for everybody. No, it doesn't have to be good enough for everybody. It has to be good for the right people. The same God who gave you the business idea is going to give you the clients. You have to trust that. It's not your job to be everybody's cup of tea. It's your job to be the cup of tea for the right person. That's it. It's your job to show up for yourself and those who appreciate what you bring. It's not your job to try to convince someone who likes oranges to like apples. It's your job for those who like oranges for you to just talk more to them about how much you like oranges too. But if we want to spend our time and our energy trying to convert an orange lover to an apple lover, we've used so much energy on that we've ignored the orange lovers who are ready to buy from you in the first place. I want you guys to truly free yourself from committing to self-sabotage. Every time you doubt what you have been given naturally, every time you doubt your own gifts, that is a small version of self-sabotage. And let's think back to what I just said about your blessings. How can God put what you're asking for in your hand if he can see your thoughts, right? He can see your thoughts. He can see your heart. He can see what you're thinking. If he can clearly see that, you still don't 100% believe that you're good enough to receive what he's planning to give you. Is he going to drop that into your hand at that time? If you're praying for, success in your business or whatever the case is, but in your mind, you're really not even thinking that your business is good enough to receive the customers that would give you that success, God's not going to drop it into your hand yet until you're ready. Until you've shown that you're ready to change. Until you've shown that you have courage. Until you've shown your commitment to your own goals, to your own success. And these are the pep talks that I have with myself and with my husband all the time. She says, I stopped creating content because of my own criticism. I've been there. I've had moments where I'm like, I'm not creating nothing because I don't know what to say. I don't think anyone's going to like it. Just completely lost all faith and confidence in my message and my story. But I'm grateful that I always sit and really talk to myself and say, Ellie, it is not your job to worry about everyone liking it. It is your job to create for yourself and to create for those who appreciate it. Everything outside of that doesn't matter. Think about Apple. It's a huge company. Does everybody have an iPhone? No. Apple is still $1 billion company. And there are some people who have built entire content careers or YouTube careers talking about how trash iPhones are. Is iPhone looking at them? Is Apple, the company, worried about the people bashing iPhones? No, because they are still a $1 billion company. I know everybody here knows an Android lover. The ones showing up green in the text thread. They don't care. People can talk about them all day. Oh, why you got an Android? Why you got an Android? Why you got an Android? They're standing 10 toes down on their Android, and they have their community of Android lovers. And, you know, they get in their Android on. Are they worried about the iPhone people who are mad that there's a green text in their thread? No. So, you know, it's the little things that you have to pay attention to and recognize that even for you, for your content, for your business, for your growth, whatever it is that you want to bring to the world, there's going to be people who are against it, but they don't matter. What matters is you nurturing the people that are for you. Nurture the people that are for you. Nurture those who want to hear your voice. Nurture those who want to buy your product. Nurture those who want to talk about, you know, cats and dogs just as much as you want to talk about cats and dogs, because God has given you those gifts. God has given you those likes and interests for a reason. That's what you have to lean into and follow. So if there's people around you who don't encourage that, change the people around you. If you are afraid to do that, start building up some courage and take small steps to make little changes so that the big changes don't seem as intimidating. And beyond all of that, let's commit to putting our foot on the gas and commit to leaning in to what God has placed inside of you, and knowing that if it's a gift that comes naturally to you, you cannot fail. I want you guys to comment in the chat, I cannot fail. This is something that comes naturally to you. This is something that God has given to you. And as a result, you cannot fail. Do y'all understand that? You cannot fail at something that is yours. You cannot fail at a business that you have come up with. You cannot fail at a gift that has been given to you. You cannot fail at this. So I want you to operate with that level of commitment, that level of belief, that level of all gas, no brakes, because you cannot fail at something that was given to you. You cannot fail at this. You cannot fail at it. Less self-sabotage, more success. Okay? Less self-sabotage, more success. Less fear, more courage. Less stagnation, more change. Okay? This is what we need for this month, this year, and just your future as a whole. All right? Y'all already know it's Monday, so I gotta make sure I come and bring you guys some motivation to get into this week. But I will be back on here later so we can do our business live. We got to talk about some business. We have some grants to go over, but I really wanted to make sure that I came and brought you guys some encouragement to start your day, to start your week. And then later on this evening, we'll dive into some business topics so we can make this money for the month of March. All right. Yes, I do go live daily. So YouTube, if you haven't followed yet, please do. And my Insta fam, my day ones, okay, go ahead and DM me the word freedom to get all the replays to my Financial Freedom Summit. And I will see you guys in my live later today.